Good morning, guys. Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. So, currently across the state, we do have those showers and storms that we expected to produce some hail throughout the morning hours. A little bit later than expected, but they're here. We do have one warning that has just been issued. It's going to be for Tuscola County as well as Lapeer and Genesee counties. This is going to be for the cell moving just to the east of Frankenmuth, Birch Run area, moving southeast towards Lapeer, Imlay City, Lum, Almont, Otisville, Otter Lake, North Branch, and Metamora. So your threats with this storm are going to be large hail as well as winds up to 50 miles per hour. So winds will stay below severe limits with this storm, but they could get pretty gusty for a brief period of time. The main threat with this storm will be the hail up to 1 inch. We do have some indications on radar that hail is approaching the 1 inch size. We go ahead and switch over here and see if I can get a product here called VIL to work. And there you go. That is going to be your hail tracker. And right there in that yellow area and the green area is going to be your large hail between Millington and Mayville, moving southeast at around 35 to 45 miles per hour. The text of the warning does say southeast at 40, but we're looking mainly around 35 to 45. So it could be a little bit faster or slower than that. Impact times for some of these areas: Columbiaville 9 a.m., Lapeer 9:15, Lum 9:20, Metamora 9:25, Imlay City 9:30, Dryden around 9:35, and Almont around 9:40 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, this is going to be mainly for large hail, but some gusty winds are possible with this storm, as winds are quite impressive here in the upper levels of the atmosphere. And just it may not be translating down to the surface just yet, just because we don't really have much in the way of instability on the surface. So anything that does happen wind-wise will be mainly for like downburst type of winds where the rain or the hail hits the ground very quickly and it spreads outward, causing bursts of wind. We call them microbursts, downbursts. You can interchange the terminology for it. Otherwise, aside this storm currently, we go ahead and take a zoom out real quick. We do have scattered storms all the way up here through the Gaylord area, up in northern Michigan. Some special weather statements and marine warnings have been issued throughout the morning, mainly just for 30-mile-per-hour winds and P up to penny-size hail. So quite, penny size can still do some pretty good. I'm not gonna say too much damage, but it can do damage. Quarter size and higher is when you get into the severe type of criteria. So mainly just some stronger storms that have been moving through this morning up in the upper part of Michigan. It's a little bit different than how we expect it to play out. We did expect mainly a squall line type of thing to develop and push more so south of what this is showing right now. So we'll have to kind of see how this affects later today's threat. We'll go over that here briefly here. I do want to go live again at 1 p.m. That's a scheduled time frame to go live. I will go live again explaining updates. More model data will be out by then. But for right now, the severe threat for the evening hours tonight is still in effect here. In fact, if you look on your screen here, the SPC risk you can see here in yellow, that is your slight risk. They did upgrade the risk to a slight risk for areas that are east of the US 23 corridor. So Detroit, Pontiac, Flint, Howell, Ann Arbor, Adrian, Monroe, all the way up to Sandusky, Lapeer, Pontiac. You guys are all in the slight risk now. And then the marginal risk does extend over here to Kalamazoo, up to Grand Rapids, up toward Cadillac, into the Gaylord area, and up to the Alpena area. That's for later this evening. And it's still dependent on if that cap can break. We'll go over that a little bit more in detail here fairly soon, but I do want to focus in on the storm that is currently severe. If you guys do have the time, I would definitely tune in at the 1 p.m. live stream. We'll go ahead and go over the threat tonight and give you the update on that. Going ahead and just going to go ahead and look at this some more here. I'm going to go ahead and take a split panel look here. We're going to put radar on the left, and we're going to put our hail tracker on the right. So hail indication right now is 0.85 inches according to radar. So it's right at or just below severe limits. So quarter size hail Excuse me. I just ate breakfast. I'm going to burp a lot. Excuse me. Just below quarter size hail or at quarter size hail. So damage to vehicles is expected, and I see it just got a little bit larger there with the hail size now indicating over 1 inch. So between Millington and Otter Lake here, we see that yellow and orange area. And also in the green here, you do have this look for some hail there as well. If you take a look at our CC product, we're going to see a little bit of off coloration here. That's going to be your hail falling anywhere from Millington to Mayville up to Vassar. That's going to be your hail falling there. And again, these storms are elevated, so no tornado threat, no wind threat. Or should I say no major wind threat with these. There is some gusty winds possible just given the amount of rain and hail falling. But again, this is going to be an elevated storm, and not much is expected for wind and tornado wise until maybe later tonight. Go ahead and animate this and look at some comments here for some questions. Is Dexter in the slight risk? So Dexter is not. Dexter, actually, hold on. Yeah, Dexter would be in that slight risk. There's your Chelsea, Dexter, you guys are in that slight risk. So yeah, just barely. And yeah, like I said, we'll go over it later today. Later, 1 p.m. is a scheduled live stream. We'll have a few more models come out. We'll have the new SPC outlook. We'll have discussions out. We'll have a lot more information on the atmosphere as well because we're looking at real-time data now instead of model data. So we'll have a lot of data to go over at 1 p.m. with you guys. But that risk still does exist for tonight. All right, Flint, Michigan, how are we looking? So Flint right now, you guys are going to scoot by the storm just to the east, so you should stay clear of this storm. But there is some more storms up here that may form or impact you a little bit later on. But right now, Flint, you are in the clear. The warning is just off to the east of Flint. Go ahead and leave this up right here. Go ahead and pull data and just go ahead and keep that image right here. Again, the hail core right now between Millington and Otter Lake in this yellow and orange area here on the right side of your screen, that's going to be your hail threat. Your largest hail's falling right in this area. And again, in the greens, you're going to have heavier rain and some small hail possible, but the main hail core is going to be right here between Otter Lake and Millington. Hail size on radar is 1 inch, 1.09 inches, so just over quarter size according to radar. That could be accurate or just a little bit, or it should be around that size, so maybe a little bit bigger than that. But the warning box is for quarter size hail. That is radar indicated. All winds should be less than 50 miles per hour. It takes 58 miles per hour to get severe criteria for wind gusts. This storm is pushing 50, so just below severe limits on wind as well. Macomb County, you're in the clear for right now, but these storms continuing on their path will impact Macomb County up here. So be on the lookout next hour or two. The warning is just off to your north. The slight risk was probably issued because of 2% tornadoes. So the slight risk is going to be wind driven tonight. In fact, they just issued a new outlook and it didn't really change much at all. The tornado probability is in that slight risk area, but also hail up to 15% and then wind also to 15%. So it's a wind and hail driven slight risk. The tornado is still 2%. If you guys recall last night's stream, if you were here, we did expect the slight risk to be issued if more confidence was had. Personally, my confidence this morning with the models has not increased. But the SPC is went ahead and put the slight risk out anyway, which I don't really argue it. I think it's really, if the storms can go up today, break the cap, they're going to be explosive. So I understand why the slight risk was issued, but right now the confidence with the models is still quite low. So just because of that cap situation. Shelby Township just got a warning alert. So right now, Shelby Township, I believe your guys are right around this area here in Macomb, County area. I don't see you guys on the map here. Oh, there it is, Shelby. Now you're outside the warning right now, but the storm is heading your way, so be on the lookout. We do have some bigger hail size coming in now. 1.48 radar indicated, so we're getting up to we're getting up towards the $half size hail with this 1.5 inch hail radar indicated. So they may go ahead and update this warning a little bit. It still says quarters. This goes until 10 a.m. by the way, so another hour here, about 53 minutes on this warning box. Lapeer, you are dead center in the path of this. So if you're in Lapeer or anywhere around the Lapeer area, Metamora, you guys are right in the path of this large hail. So if you do have time right now, if you have a garage or can secure your cars or anything that could be damaged by hail, if you have time right now to get outside and do that, I would do that just because this hail core is heading right toward you guys. Go ahead and back this up here. It's moving pretty much dead center for Lapeer. So again, if you are in or around the Lapeer area between Otter Lake, Lapeer, Metamora, Almont, Imlay City, and Lum, you guys need to get inside, and you do have time. If you're in the Lapeer area, you do have time right now to go out and get your stuff secured, get it protected before the storm comes. So if you do have stuff to protect, get out there right now and do it, and then get back inside and hunker down. It's going to be some pretty big hail potentially impacting your area here in the next half hour or so. Hail size again on radar is 1.48 inches. So that's going to be equivalent to, I believe, $half size. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. This warning goes until 10 o'clock in the morning. $half, so it's going to be equivalent to ping pong ball size hail or walnut. So you're talking ping pong ball size hail with a storm now. And hopefully that continues to, hopefully it weakens as this continues off. Columbiaville, if you're in Columbiaville here, I see that just popped on my map. So Columbiaville, between Columbiaville, Lapeer, you guys are about to get hit by some good size hail there. Look at this on the right side of your screen here. You have these darker colors here in this, what we call vertically integrated liquid. This is basically a measure of the raindrops and or particles in the atmosphere. And when you have these brighter colors in the yellows, greens, and even dark, now we're getting reds here. That's not a good sign. So now we're getting reds. That is a good indication that we have some big hail falling here in Otter Lake. So hopefully this isn't going to be too big of a deal. But as of right now, Columbiaville, over toward Lapeer, you guys are in line for some very large hail at this current time. Hopefully this begins to weaken, but right now this is looking like it's about to be a significant hail producer here in the Lapeer County area. It's crossing into Lapeer County right now. I believe this is Lapeer County. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but Columbiaville, Lapeer, you guys are in line for this storm for some big size hail. A secondary hail core may be developing up here just to the east of Millington. Not going to be as large of hail as down here in Otter Lake, but we do have indications now the hail size is about ping pong ball size hail heading into the Lapeer, Lum, Imlay City, and Metamora area, currently sitting just to the north of Columbiaville, just east of Otter Lake. Yes, the storm has been severe warned for a while. I don't see any more warnings on this on my map except for this one. There is a special weather statement to the north of here. We go ahead and bring that up. I can't click it for some reason. But there, this orange, or should I say brown tan box, that is your special weather statement, which is what's issued for storms that are strong but not quite severe. So probably going to be some hail up here in the Saginaw Bay City. Actually, Saginaw Bay City, you guys are in the clear. I'm talking maybe Sebring, Unionville, Caro, Kingston, and then Mayville again. You guys do have some more storms off to your north pushing in. Some small hail right now is possible. I'm not really showing anything on my hail marker. Maybe something here toward Caro, just to the east of Akron there. But for the most part, the majority of the hail core is going to be down here over Columbiaville, Otter Lake area, pushing south toward Lapeer, Lum, Imlay City, Almont, and Metamora. I'll go ahead and leave this radar image up here and take some more comments. Alexis, Hillsdale County is in the clear for right now. Later tonight, there is a threat. We'll go over that about 1 o'clock today. We'll also have an updated post forecast up for you guys by 1 o'clock as well. 926 for Shelby Township. I don't know. I think it's moving a little bit slower than that. I'm thinking maybe closer to 935, 945 for you guys in Shelby Township. Yeah, you guys are way down here by Macomb County here. You guys got a little bit yet. I think I might be a little bit too aggressive there with timing. So again, severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for the Lapeer County area. There is a good size hail core with ping pong ball, radar indicated ping pong ball size hail that is currently just to the east of Otter Lake, moving toward Lapeer and Lum. Columbiaville, you should be getting some pretty good size hail here if you're in that area. And then again, this storm is moving off to the southeast at around 40 miles per hour. So anywhere south and east of this storm needs to be on alert. Wind cells disappeared. There is really no wind threat with these storms this morning just because there is a stable layer on the surface. So updrafts are not going to be surface based, which means damaging winds and tornadoes are not going to be likely with these storms. Kalamazoo is in a very low end threat today. I think the threat is going to be off to the east of Kalamazoo, although Kalamazoo is included in the severe risk. I just think it's going to be further east than Kalamazoo. We look over here to Kalamazoo. This green line divides Kalamazoo anywhere east of that green line. So Galesburg, Richland, Portage, you guys are in that severe threat. Kalamazoo downtown technically just barely squeezes in that threat. But for the most part, the highest coverage of storms is going to be over here toward Jackson, Lansing, Howell, Pontiac, Ann Arbor, Flint, Cairo, Saginaw, Sandusky, Detroit, Monroe areas. So radar indicated hail right now is now 1.32 inches. So between that quarter and ping pong ball size is radar indicated. The warning text has still not been updated. It still says quarter size hail. So that'd be a really good comparison there. Just go ahead and say quarters are pretty likely to be falling here, maybe a bit larger. So pretty good hail core here seen on radar. CC isn't really showing much in the way of significant hail core. That's a really good news. But for the most part, the VIL on the right side of your screen is a better indicator for hail. So if there's going to be any big hail, it's going to be between Columbiaville and Otter Lake. This may scoot Lapeer to the north. So it might just go north of Lapeer here. So if you're in Lapeer north, between Lum and Lapeer, it may be splitting Lapeer and Lum. So we'll see what that has to do here. We'll see what it does. All right, take some more questions. Time for this evening. So everybody who's asking about this evening, we'll go ahead and give a blanket statement here. It's going to depend very heavily on what the cap does. Now, the cap is the lid on the atmosphere. It prevents updrafts from going up and storms from strengthening. So it may prevent storms altogether, or it may hinder storms' strength. The timing of storms tonight is going to be highly dependent on when that cap breaks. Usually when we have a strong cap in place like we do today, when we get to the evening hours, nocturnal cooling, when the sun goes down, it cools off the atmosphere. The cap is warm air. When the atmosphere cools, the cap weakens, and that's when you get the storms likely to go up. So storms tonight will most likely be centered after the sunset time frame. Could be as early as 7, or it could be as late as 10, 11, or even midnight and after that. It's going to be a late night threat tonight for probably most of us if there's going to be storms in the first place. It's going to be a really heavily dependent threat on if that cap will break. I cannot stress that enough. So if that cap does break, the environment will be explosive, both in instability and wind shear, which is why we have that threat for all hazards today. But it's going to heavily depend, again, on if that cap can break. And again, I need to see data to get a better idea. I just got home from work about an hour ago. I have not gone over any of the new data. I have not gone over any of the latest models. I haven't even looked at the SPC. I haven't looked at discussions. I am basically jumping on here and going right into things here with a severe threat. So like I said, we'll have a live stream for 1 p.m. today. So if you guys want to hear more about it, tune in at that point. If you can't tune in, we'll have a post on our page discussing the threat, all the hazards, the timing, everything in detail will be posted in a text form as well, and we'll be live at 1 p.m. So you're going to have ways to read. It's just at this point in time, I know the forecast sounding they launched in Detroit this morning still hasn't been uploaded, so we have to look at that yet. There's just a lot of moving parts to the day, and I do not have the information to give you guys at this time. All I can really say is the SPC went ahead and issued the slight risk, and they updated that 17 minutes ago to reflect this area here in yellow. So Sandusky, Croswell, Lapeer, Flint, Howell, Pontiac, Detroit, Macomb County up here, all the way down to Monroe, Lenawee County, Eastern Lenawee, Eastern Washtenaw, Eastern Livingston. You guys are all in that slight risk. That's going to be for all hazards possible. Anywhere west of that is going to be in a marginal risk, so a lower end risk. So Jackson, Lansing, Alma, Ionia, Owasso, Battle Creek, Coldwater, Hillsdale, Sturgis. You guys are in a lower threat for mainly wind and hail. The best coverage of storms is expected to be on the eastern part of the state, which is why you see that slight risk that has just been introduced here at the update that SPC did. So again, focusing back on this storm, we do have a severe warning in effect here, and look at that. That is indicative of some very large hail. Wow. That is probably some really gusty winds there with that too on the leading or the back edge there between Columbiaville and Otisville there. That is more than likely, hold on. That might be clear air. Give me a second here. I want to take one thing. Yeah, not much there on the rotation tracker, but it is probably indicative of some really good outflow winds there between Columbiaville, Otisville, Davison, Lapeer. So we'll have to see if we get any wind damage reports with that, but that's mainly probably because the hail is falling at such an alarming pace. You're getting a lot of gusty winds with that. So that is more than likely what's happening there. Good size hail core, it does appear to be weakening back under 1 inch. That's great news. So east of Columbiaville here, you guys are probably getting up to quarter size hail, mainly going to be diamond penny size at this point. So that's great news. Lapeer, Lum, you are on deck for hail. It's black in Lapeer. I believe it. I really do believe it. The storms this morning when I was coming home from work, the storms, or not the storms, the clouds, should I say, looked very, very cool, very intense, although there's no storms down where I live. But the skies were pretty wicked this morning, even though there was no storms. So I can only imagine what they look like with storms. Let's see here. Any other questions? What area are you in? I am in southeast Michigan, Lenawee County, between basically on the border of Lenawee, Monroe, and Washtenaw and Wayne counties in that area. If you guys know where like the Dundee, Milan area is, I'm in that area. Is that going to make it all the way down to the Detroit area? No, this will go into the North Metro area, and they'll go into Canada. It's not going to impact us down here in our area, Julie. I go ahead and animate this. We'll get the movement on it. It's going to go pretty much toward the Macomb County area and into Canada here in Ontario. And then looking off to the west here, we have nothing coming behind that. So I'm curious to look at satellite to see if they have clear skies off here to the west or if it's clouded over. Because if we do have clouds, that'll hinder instability and also our heat for today just a bit. I know it's cloudy here where I live, but I'm also closer to these storms. So we'll have to see how the heat plays out as well. We'll have to see if instability can develop, which it is expected to. We'll have plenty of time to revamp the atmosphere this afternoon. So again, severe warning is in effect for Lapeer County. The largest hail core does appear to be just north of Lapeer. I do see some indications of a new hail core here. Hold on, let me go ahead and place a marker. Yeah, so we have some new hail falling just to the north of Lapeer. So Lapeer, you're back, and we just got a new warning issued now. I'm going to go ahead and get this updated. A new warning has just been updated here for severe warning for Tuscola and Genesee is canceled. Severe warning remains in effect until 10 a.m. for Lapeer County. Hazard is still quarter-size hail. The areas of impact: Lum 925, Metamora 930, Imlay City 935, Dryden 940, Almont 945. Other locations are going to be Goodland Township, Kings Mill, Attica, Alba, and Thornville. Again, that's going to be for hail up to 1 inch or equivalent to quarter size and 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts. This warning has now been in effect for a half hour and just got extended. So it's going to be in effect for about an hour total here as this moves toward the Lapeer area. We're getting really good hail size now. Oh, we got purples. That's not good. 1.64 inches radar indicator. So we're over ping pong ball size indicated now here on radar. Not a good situation here for Lapeer. So if you are in Lapeer, North Lapeer, you are probably getting some really good size hail with the storm. That is not good. 1.72 size inch hail. That is not good at all. So at this point, we're approaching golf ball size. So we're between quarter and golf ball size hail just to the north of Lapeer. That is not good news. Go ahead and animate this a little bit, zoom out, so you guys can get an idea of where this is going. So this is your animation. It's heading toward Lapeer, and an area extends. Okay. So Lapeer, Imlay City, Almont, you guys are all in this risk. Metamora, anywhere between Lapeer, Imlay City, Almont, and Metamora. It continues off to the east-southeast. You're looking at Leonard, Burrville, Armada, and Romeo. Again, this is really good size hail showing up here on radar. Would not be shocked to see over quarter size hail falling with this storm. They're getting those really intense purples now on radar. Let's check CC. Yeah, check that out. That is a huge hail core. You see it on their left side. This is your debris tracker. This is a measure of how we measure tornadoes and also hail. And you see this area of yellow here on the left side of your screen with all that red. Then that matches up pretty well here with the VIL, which is your raindrop size, aka bigger raindrops or hail, would show up in brighter colors. And that is not a good situation. So Lapeer North right here, you guys are getting some really intense hail. This is probably going to do a lot of damage here for those impacted by the storm. So again, if you are in North Lapeer, it's going to split Lapeer just to the north and a little bit east, and it's going to continue between Imlay City, Metamora, and Lum. So anywhere between these areas here, you guys need to be inside, get your vehicles secured now. If you can get in the garage or against a house or under a tree, do it. This is big hail falling here in Lapeer County. Yeah, that's some pretty good size hail there, Julie. Pronounced Armada. Okay, I'm sorry, Ken. I always said Armada. Okay, Amanda, there are no tornadoes anywhere today or this morning. If there's going to be tornadoes, it's going to be with the later evening threat tonight if that develops. We'll have more information on that around noon, and we'll go live at 1 p.m. today. Ken says he's in Emmett. No rain in Ionia County. Nope, not at all. Trying to figure out where Emmett's at. Okay, Emmett's over here. So yeah, you'd probably get skirted by the storm. If it continues off to the east-southeast, you're going to miss it off to the west, but it could scoot towards you. You'll at least get some rain out of this, but the hail core looks to stay off to your west. And again, this is some pretty big size hail here falling just north of Lapeer. We're getting these purples here. Hail at 1.72 inches. That is equivalent to golf ball size hail. So expect at the very, very least quarter to ping pong ball, and at the very most golf ball size hail falling in very localized area. Taking a peek, we do have a storm up here now showing up on our hail tracker here near Gagetown, Unionville, and Back. I don't want to pronounce it wrong, but I do apologize if I did. Up by Cass City. So some small hail right now possible. I would not be shocked to see a warning for this if it continues to strengthen. Those areas would be Kingston, Sandusky, Deckerville, Snover, and then Cass City, Marla, Applegate, those areas. Right now, the focus is right here. And I just got the information for a special weather statement just got issued for this storm. This is going to be for, I'll bring it up here, Cass City, Seedwing, and Pigeon. It's going to be penny-sized hail and up to 40-mile-per-hour winds with that storm. So just below severe criteria for right now. Check that out. That is an intense hail core. I cannot imagine what's going on in Lapeer right now. Wow. So if you are in Lapeer and you have reports of hail, please send those into us. I want to see if this hail is actually as big as radar is showing, because if this radar image is coming true, we're getting close to, at the very least, ping pong to golf ball size, maybe closer to egg size hail. Radar indicates still at 1.72, just north and a little bit east of Lapeer. You can see here on radar, your hail core is going to be in purple. Whoops. Apologize for that. We'll load this back in. Yeah, so just north of Lapeer here, you guys, and there's the update. All right. So just off to the east and north of Lapeer, you're getting at least quarter to golf ball size hail falling. The hail core is heading towards the Dryden, Metamora, and Imlay City area. I'll probably split those areas through the countryside here. But if you look on the satellite here, there's a lot of people you can see on satellite. There's a lot of houses and a lot of population there. So it's not, luckily, not a huge population, but it's still pretty populated. The warning is still for quarter-size hail, but radar is indicating that this hail could be upwards of golf ball size. Chris, this shouldn't affect later storms at all. It's not a very widespread happening right now, so I don't expect these storms right now to affect this evening's threat at all. Shelby says she's in southern Lapeer. It's getting windy and it's starting to rain. So radar indicated right now, still showing 1.72 inch hail there. You can see air on the purples. That's your hail core matching up pretty well with VIL, which is our hail product here showing on the right side of your screen. And then also a third measure that we use for hail is this, what we call correlation coefficient, showing a pretty good size hail core just north and a little bit east of Lapeer. So not good news here for the Lapeer proper area. The storm is heading off to the east-southeast at about 35 miles per hour. So Metamora, Imlay City, Alma, and anywhere between there near Dryden, you guys are all on deck for this. Not a good look at all. We can actually see there is a hail core here. You see how this green, this is your radar, this is your winds going away from the radar, and the red's going towards the radar. The radar is going to be south, so over here is your radar. So in this area between Lapeer and Lum, you're getting these the hail core falling here, and it's basically falling at such force that it's spraying the winds around it outward, which is why you're getting some mixed signal here on velocity. It's not rotation, it's a microburst. Go ahead and flip back over here to our VIL product. All right, so it looks like the purples are gone, but the reds are still there. So due east of Lapeer, Looks like the main bulk of the hail missed the proper part of town, but the northern part of Lapeer may have got skirted, and now the eastern part is now being skirted here. So just to the east of Lapeer, we're getting hail still over 1 inch on radar. It's just a pretty insane look for this early in the morning. Now we did expect hail, but I did not expect hail to be this size this early. So let's go ahead and take a peek here. Does anybody have any reports of hail, pictures of hail in this area to send us? Please do. You can message our page or you can email it, mistormchasers@gmail.com. We would love to see what's going on here in the Lapeer area. Northeast side of Lapeer, only a small amount of very small hail, nothing now. Okay, that's good news, Jennifer. So hopefully the radar is over indicating this hail, and sometimes it's the case, but usually is not the case. So we'll have to see if anybody around you got hail at all. Getting situated here. If you guys can hear my chair squeaking, getting my what do you call it? Get my chair spread out here so I can kind of kick back and get comfortable. All right. So giving an update here, we do have a pretty beefy storm up here in Lapeer County, producing some pretty large hail that appears to have gone just north and a little bit east of Lapeer. The main hail core is going to be about 1 to 2 miles east of Lapeer right now, crossing the highway, moving in toward the Metamora, Dryden, and Imlay City areas. On radar, we have a couple products here indicating that very large hail could be falling here. Radar indicating right now right around 1 to 1.5 inch size hail. So over quarter to ping pong ball size hail is possible. We do have at least reports of some small hail falling at this time. Luckily, we have not heard anything significant happening, which is great news. I'm looking on our page now. I'm looking at our messages and comments to make sure I'm not missing anything here. So again, severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect for Lapeer County until 10 a.m. for large hail up to quarter, but radar indicates a little bit larger size than that. It could be falling. Looking at a few of the comments here, I do not see any bigger hail being reported or shown to us, which is great news. Trying to figure out if there's any other messages here, looking at a few things. So really nice shelf clouds being shown to us. All right, pebble-sized hail. Hail in Lapeer. All right, yep. Travis, this should not affect storms later. Funnel cloud over Lapeer, I do not believe that. The atmosphere today is not supportive of that. As at this point in time, maybe later, but right now there's no instability on the surface for anything like that to be happening. So it's probably just a scud cloud. Storming in is it K-Pack? I know a lot of people will or will correct my wow. A lot of people will correct my mispronunciation, but I will forget it within 2 or 3 days. Is it K-Pack or Kapak? All right, thank you, Shelby. It's K-Pack. That's what I thought it was. Yes, there is a lot of lightning with these storms. A lot of lightning. I don't have lightning on this radar. If I did, I'd show you. But heading up here to these storms, they have been strengthening a little bit, but hail core on them remains pretty small. So maybe some pea-size hail up by Cass City, up by Sebring. Some pea-size hail and some gusty winds are possible up here as well, heading toward the Snover, Kingston, and Marlette area. The warning for Lapeer County still remains in effect. We'll see if they extend that, which I would expect they would, given the indication here on our VIL product showing a pretty good size, at least very small hail falling here. But the radar indicating still a quarter-size hail falling just to the east and the south now of Lapeer, heading between Metamora and Dryden. So Dryden more so than Metamora. So if you're between Metamora and Dryden, I'd say get ready for the storm. But if you're in Dryden, it may be more of a direct hit for you guys down there. Now, this is a weird feature I see here. You see how this is curving out like a little hook? Now, that's interesting. So this may have some supercellular characteristics, but again, instability is not present on the surface. So with that being said, we need the instability on the surface to create damaging winds and also tornadoes. So anything that you're going to see this morning is going to be hail just because there's no instability. Again, for instability and for the damaging winds and tornadoes, we need to have that instability on the surface. We do not have that. So the threat is mainly going to be hail and any microburst or downburst winds caused by hail. So some gusty winds are possible, but they're not going to be what we call wind driven. They'll be like microburst driven instead. All right, so the bulk of the hail looks to be kind of spreading out now between Lapeer, Imlay City, Dryden, and Metamora. So in between those areas, it's basically just lighting up the entire area here with hail now. Looking at our CC product, still a hail core there, right over the highway here between Lapeer and Imlay City. So that'd be right over here in the orange area. And I see this just got updated now, and I see some oranges and browns coming back in. That's not really good news. It's getting stronger here. So I'd expect them, if this continues, I would expect them to go ahead and extend that warning a little bit further to the south. So that would be Macomb County. I would expect at the very least to get in that warning. What is this? Oakland County here? I want to say this is Oakland County here. I would say Oakland County as well would be in that warning if they extend that warning as well. All right, so hail starting to creep back up there in size here. We got those brighter colors, or should I say darker colors, now forming in, which indicates that the size of the hail could be increasing. All right, back to some comments here. And this is for Lapeer County. We cannot check instability on radar. Unfortunately, we cannot. I can give you guys, I don't want to switch off this, but I can go to the real-time data off the SPC site called Mesoanalysis, and I can go ahead and take a peek here at our surface CAPE, which I can guarantee you there's going to be none. I'll go ahead and double-check that just to make sure. Yeah, there is no CAPE at all in Michigan right now. The instability is off in Wisconsin and pushing across Lake Michigan. So it's about to fill in the state as we get in the late morning and the early afternoon hours. But for right now, there is none whatsoever. There is a lot of wind shear, though, in the thumb area. So we'll give it that. But there is no instability. We can have as much instability as you can imagine. That's not going to give us severe weather. We still need the wind shear. We need the moisture. We need the lift. So if this warning does get dropped and the storm does weaken, I will look at some models with you guys for later today. But for right now, I want to stay focused in on the threat that's currently ongoing. So I'm not going to. Okay, we just got a new warning now issued for, yes, for Oakland and Macomb counties. That's going to be for quarter-size hail and up to 50-mile-per-hour winds that just got issued to the south there. So go ahead and get this posted onto the page real quickly. Give me 1 second. We'll go ahead and go over that. So again, that warning did get extended, as we've just talked about. That's going to be for Oakland and Macomb counties. quarter-size hail, and 50-mile-per-hour winds. All right, got that up on the page. So the new warning now got extended further south. This includes all of Macomb County over toward the borderline Wayne County here. And this is going to go until, I'm assuming, 11 o'clock, up until 10:45. So locations impacted will be Romeo, 950, Rochester, 955, Sterling Heights, Clinton, Macomb Township until 10:05, Mount Clemens, 10:10, St. Clair Shores, 10:15. Other locations are going to be Shelby Township, Roseville, Ray Center, Utica, Washington, and Auburn. Auburn Hills, Pleasant Ridge, Sutherline, Leonard, Chesterfield Township. That's going to be for large hail and damaging winds up to 50 miles per hour. So just below severe winds with this. So it's a pretty beefy storm here. If you look on radar, it looks like a pretty beefy supercell with this. Again, not going to be tornadic, not going to be a major damaging wind threat, although some gusty winds are possible. This is going to be mainly for a hail threat with this storm. Heavy rain in Macomb. Macomb? I don't see any rain here for Macomb. I know it's up here somewhere. But yeah, the heaviest rain's coming down from the Lapeer area. If we take a peek, I wonder if we can load our. I guess I can't with this product, but I'm curious how much rain is falling with this storm because it's probably going to leave some flash flooding here as well. Although it's moving pretty quickly now, so it should be a pretty quick flash flooding threat. But it's definitely possible there could be some flash flooding with this. Some good news on our hail tracker. It is now weakening a little bit, so that's great news, but still showing up as some pretty good hail falling, again, between Metamora, Dryden, Imlay City, and Lapeer. Dryden looks to be a head-on hit, so if you're in Dryden, expect some potential for some severe hail with that, but right now radar's indicating less than severe size is falling. Go ahead and confirm that with our CC, and there's not much to talk about here on the CC. Maybe a little bit up here between these highways here, just to the west of Imlay City, but again, no major hail core is being detected right now on radar. We do have new models coming out for this evening in about 20 minutes. So again, if this storm dies out, we'll go ahead and look at those, but I want to focus on the threat for right now. What's up, Chris? Beep, beep, beep. Yep. Got those weather alert radios probably going off up there. Where is this heading? This is heading into Macomb and Oakland counties. Areas impacted are going to be Romeo and Oxford, Leonard off the bat here. So those are going to be the first cities to get it. Shelby Township, you guys are next. New Haven, Rochester Hills, and Lake Orion as well. Utica's in there. And if it holds together, Mount Clemens into the North Metro Detroit area towards Warren, Fraser, New Baltimore, New Haven, Sterling Heights, and potentially Troy as well. We will track it every step of the way here for you guys. Again, right now, the hail core does appear to be weakening right now, which is good news, but it could always re-strengthen. Hail currently showing just under, that's going to be a half-inch size hail currently showing on radar. So right now, good news, but that could again strengthen. The garbage man is here, if you guys can hear that outside. Christine, this is going to miss Monroe County to the north. Your threat's going to come on later this evening with those threats. Take a wider view out here. Monroe's way down here is going to go into Canada here. So Monroe, I don't expect you guys to get anything. Although there is some development to the west of this that could swing down toward Monroe. We'll have to watch that close on the leading edge of this near Flint, down by Linden. So if that holds together, it may try to scoot down toward Monroe, but the overall dynamics are kind of going to push this into Ontario. So we'll have to watch it in coming hours. This storm in particular will go into Canada. We'll have to watch what's going to form on the west part of this. So again, hail tracker is showing that this hail core has weakened, which is great news. Although some maybe some dime-sized hail looks to be falling still. I do see a few images on our page here. I'm going to go take a peek at those really quickly and see what we're getting here. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at some of these pictures getting sent in. All right, mainly just for the most part, looking at cloud picture, shelf clouds, turbulent skies. I don't see any hail reports at all at this point, which is really good news. So hopefully the radar was overestimating the hail size, but everything on radar indicates that the hail was quite significant with that. So we'll see if we have any other reports show up. But for right now, it looks to be just mainly just some small hail falling at this point in time between Lapeer, Inlay City, Alma, and Oxford. Yeah, if you guys do have hail reports in this area, please send those in to us. We would love to see what's going on. But for right now, the largest hail that I've seen reported is dime. Good morning, everybody. Anita says good morning. What's up, Anita? Scanner said down trees. Yeah, with the hail falling the way it is, I would not be shocked to get some gusty winds there from the microburst. Yes, we do plan to go live. We have a live stream update scheduled for 1 p.m. this afternoon, talking about this evening. We'll have new data to go over. We'll have everything lined up and probably set in stone by then. But again, the threat for tonight is going to be dependent on if that cap can break. The cap is going to make or break this setup. It's either going to be elevated storms like we're seeing right now, it's going to be no storms at all, or the cap's going to break and we're going to have severe storms on the eastern side of Michigan. So we'll see what happens. We'll have an update for you at 1. And then anything that does go severe tonight, we'll be streaming on our page like we are right now. So we have you guys covered. There is a severe threat now for Thursday as well. We'll go over that again at 1 o'clock, but there is a severe threat now in southern Michigan for Thursday. Storming good in Metamora. Is there any hail, Jenny? Metamora does appear to be scooting just to the west of the hail core, so just off to your east appears to be some hail falling. Getting pictures sent in now to our page. There is a pretty good shelf cloud on this storm here. I like it. Looks really mean. Turbulent skies up there. This is near Lake Orion. I wish I could show you guys what I'm seeing here, but unfortunately I can't share the screen. Whoops, I don't want to open the email yet. All right. So again, hail core now showing up again just to the north of Leonard, between Dryden and Leonard here in the yellow area and dark green areas. As you can see here on the radar, we do have some purple showing up there, which indicates some hail could be falling there. That's going to move over Leonard between Lake Orion and Romeo. So if you're in the Lake Orion and Romeo areas in Macomb and Oakland counties, you guys are on deck for this storm. And as in addition to the hail, some gusty winds are possible, as well as some very heavy rainfall rates. All right, so again, we do have this hail core. It looks like it's expanding a little bit further west and east now over Leonard. Radar indicating right now just under quarter size hail, so up to quarter size hail right now falling in this area. DTE energy map shows 2,000 people without power. That's not surprising. Jonesville, Teresa, right now is in the clear, but watch for evening threat tonight. There is a low end threat for severe weather in Jonesville tonight. Mart, at this point in time, no. I do not think we're going to go enhanced. I like the slight risk, honestly, just given the uncertainty, because this is going to be one of those situations where it's either going to perform big or it's going to bust hard. We're going to communicate that threat as accordingly. This environment today is forecast to be very explosive for storms and severe weather, including damaging winds, large hail, and tornadoes. But there's also that possibility that cap may hold and storms may not go up or may not be as strong as they could be, just given that cap. So it'll be highly dependent on if that cap will break or not. I like the slight risk given the threat of the environment, and I like it just because it's not too high of a threat. Just because if it does bust, it's not going to look bad on the SPC as well. The environment is also consider this as well. For an enhanced risk to be issued, you would need a pretty large area for the enhanced to be issued. Usually they look for a long-lived threat and also a wide area. And tonight does not really scream a large area of Michigan. It's going to be kind of split between Eastern Michigan and maybe Ontario as well. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Walnut-sized hail near Dryden, I would believe it. That's upwards of 1.75 inches. So golf balls or so, just above golf ball, I believe, is walnut size. So that'd be up by Dryden. Probably a few minutes ago. I don't see anything on radar indicating golf ball or walnuts are falling near Dryden right now. So I wouldn't be shocked if that was a few minutes ago. Yeah, there's a storm approach there. Whoopsies. Go back here. Heaviest right here, just the north and west of Dryden. So if you were just the northwest of Dryden, they're probably getting some pretty good hail a few scans ago. But right now, the hail core is now shifted over Leonard. So if you're in Leonard, you're probably getting some good size hail with that. Again, there is a warning, 2 warnings in effect here, one for Oakland and one for Macomb County. There's also one for southern Lapeer for this storm as well. So 2 warnings in effect. I'm going to go ahead and head back up here to the other storms up in Kingston, Fairgrove, and Cairo areas. Just some small hail falling near Kingston and also up near the Akron and Fairgrove areas. Nothing severe at this time, but some pea-size hail, maybe some penny-size hail falling up there. A great example tonight would be with this cap in place. So these storms you see right now are what we call elevated storms, which means the updraft is not surface based. This is possibly one of the scenarios that happens tonight where we get these storms that fire up, but because there's that cap that's going to limit the atmosphere, these storms may not be able to reach the surface, meaning it's going to be mainly a hail threat tonight. If the cap does hold, but storms do go up and break that cap, there may still be an issue with storms becoming surface based. So that's one of the scenarios that could happen tonight that we look for that may just play out tonight. So we have to keep an eye on that as well. So we may see storms, but they may just be a hail threat tonight as well. But if those updrafts can become surface based, there's going to be plenty of instability available for that to happen. So we'll have to see how it plays out. Some good sized hail now falling just to the south of Leonard, showing up at 1.3 inches. So just under ping pong ball size here, just south of Leonard. So Leonard just south, basically over town, just about a half mile to a mile south of Leonard, looking at some hail falling, heading toward the West Romeo, East Lake Orion area, right on the county line of Oakland and Macomb counties, heading into the Shelby Township area in the next 20 minutes. Can we check velocity? I can check velocity for you. You're going to see these red and green colors here. There's probably multiple boundaries, outflow boundaries on these storms. There's actually a report of hail here in Lapeer now, just popped up here. Hail. Picture sent on social media of hail near ping pong ball and quarter size. 1.5 inch Lapeer reported by Public. That was right around 20 minutes ago. So there you go, just east of Lapeer as we were looking at that radar scan. We go ahead and go back here. Switch over to our VIL product. There you go. There's your hail report at that point in time. So just about 2 miles east of Lapeer, we're getting reports of ping pong ball size hail. So there you go. This storm has a history of producing some severe size hail. Overall velocity looks pretty weak right now. Looks like just some gusty winds. But mainly looking at some of these boundaries, you see one here near Oxford, Ortonville. You have one up here, Metamora, Goodrich. Those are going to be a focus maybe for later development of storm that they can kind of stall out across the area here. We may see some storms fire off those boundaries, which may help break the cap. So we'll have to see how it plays out. But for right now, nothing rotation-wise, nothing severe wind-wise showing up on velocity. Hail being reported still at 1.3 by radar, right on the border of Oakland and Macomb counties between Lake Orion and Romeo. Check the chat. What's up, 40? Let's see here. Thundering in Shelby Township. Got slammed in Deerfield. Is there a second Deerfield in Michigan? I know there's a Deerfield down here in Lenawee County, but is there a Deerfield up there? Lots of thunder in Shelby. Yeah, I'm not shocked. Look at that latest scan there on the right. We just had an explosion of hail. And that is awesome. Not really. 1.5 inch hail now falling on radar here between Romeo and Leonard. So right on the county line, literally right on the county line, this black line, Macomb and Oakland counties, right here between Lake Orion and Romeo, we're getting quarter to ping pong ball size hail falling once again with the storm. This storm will not die. And looking around, it's the only storm really with any type of threat at all. Heading up here to the Gaylord radar, all these storms up here remain less than severe limits. So great news up there, but for right now, the main majority of the focus is going to be here on the thumb and the North Metro Detroit area. Now, hail up here shows very, very little. Some near Glenny here, and maybe up near Lost Lake Woods, Lincoln, Harrisville. But overall, the majority of the hail is falling down here in the Metro Detroit North area. Lapeer County warning has been dropped. So Lapeer County, you are now officially in the clear from any severe weather. Macomb and Oakland counties, you guys are on deck as the storm is just entering the county here. Between Leonard and Romeo, we do have some hail falling here, showing up at just over 1.48 inches. So ping pong ball size hail is falling with this storm. Take a look at our CC product. There's your hail core right there. Not a huge hail core, very small localized hail. So not everybody's going to see hail with the storm. It's going to be very localized, maybe a 2-3 mile swath of hail. That's going to be significant. But those who do get it will be damaging. Right on the county line of Oakland, Macomb County, again near Leonard and Romeo. I could take a 4-panel look here. Tell me if you guys like this look better. I usually prefer the two-panel look just because. We go ahead and take a peek at our VI or our CC on this one. We can take a peek a little bit better with this to get an idea. But for the most part, I like the 2-panel better. Let me know what you guys want. You want the 2-panel or you want the 4-panel? Sirens going off in Otisville. I do not know why it'd be going off. I don't think the warning was issued for considerable. The warning is issued for quarter-sized hail. I'm not sure why the siren's going off. Is it a fire department, local fire department volunteer thing? I know a lot of volunteer departments will blow their sirens for anything like down tree or stuff like that. Yeah, I figured you guys want the 2-panel look. 4-panel can get pretty interesting and pretty confusing. We'll go ahead and take back the 2-panel. I usually save the 4-panel for like tornadoes and stuff like that when you actually have multiple products to look at. But for this, you can pretty much tell with the radar here with the purples, and then over here on the VIL, which is your integrated liquid, showing basically anything larger than hail, or sorry, larger than raindrops would show up. So these two products do the job just fine. We do have more hail forming now over here. Would not be surprised if the new warning gets issued for western Oakland County here near Ortonville. We do have some hail showing up there between Goodrich and Ortonville. Heading down, is this 23? Am I correct? No, that's not 23. That's way east. Where is it? No, just west, or sorry, just east of US 23 there. So Ortonville, Ortonville would be the on deck for this, just to the west of Ortonville. So I would not be shocked if they got a new warning issued for that storm out to the west. We're going to take a little bit wider look here. Go ahead and animate this. So areas impact. So Pontiac, you guys will be impacted by this storm. Farmington Hills, Warren, Birmingham, Southfield, Troy, Bloomfield Hills, Rochester Hills, Auburn Hills, Shelby, Utica, Sterling Heights, Mount Clemens, New Haven. You guys are all in the path of this storm. And again, new storm forming off here to the west, looks to be gaining strength. So I would not be shocked if a new warning did get issued to the west of the current warning in western Oakland County. Back on the focus of the bigger hail here between Leonard and Romeo. Looks like the hail core is just to the west of Romeo now. So if you are in Romeo, just west of Romeo, you guys are going to be taking shelter, getting inside, away from windows. And at this point in time, it's too late to secure any cars. But if you are downstream of this, so if you are south of Romeo, if you're in Shelby, Rochester Hills, Auburn Hills, Utica, New Haven, you guys do have some time to get out and secure your cars. If you have garages, get them in the garage. If you guys have a large 2-story house or even a 1-story house, really, if you guys have anywhere you can park your car that's not going to be directly in the open, if you can protect it from hail, trees, against a building. If you guys are driving, get into a car wash, just take precautions and get away from the hail, because there has been ping pong ball size hail reported with this cell. And now hail is showing up pretty significant to the west of Romeo. Now showing again up to the golf ball size hail falling, what we saw before in Lapeer. So the storm is cycled and is now re-strengthened basically directly over Romeo, just to the west of Romeo, about 1 to 2 miles, We have a pretty large hail core falling now. Once again, looking at our CC product, nothing too significant. You can see that discoloration here just west of Romeo, but not too much. Not too much to be concerned about here on CC, but our VIL product does indicate otherwise. So we'll go ahead and switch back to VIL here. The larger, darker colors here indicate larger hail could be falling. So this is going to be just, again, west of Romeo, between Romeo and Lake Orion, pretty much in the full Macomb County now. We do have some more hail, like I said, over by Oxford, but to keep an eye on. But that'll track just to the east of Lake Orion down here into the countryside, and then we get the populated areas down here near Rochester and Auburn Hills. So these storms are just now starting to enter a more populated area, so not good news at all. Inkster, Whistland, Livonia area. So right now, no threat. If this line continues to extend further west, this will push to the south. You guys may be in a threat about an hour or two, but right now there's no threat for you guys at this time. But again, that could change here. If these storms are seeing more development off here to the west, we go ahead and animate this with see more development here. We'll have to see how these storms play out. If those continue to the south, Howell, Ann Arbor, maybe Monroe would be impacted with that. So we'll have to keep an eye on that here next couple hours. But again, for the majority, looks like the majority of severe weather, and especially hail, does appear to be in this one storm over Romeo. If we look at the hail tracker on the right, you're not going to see much in the way of anything else. We have some areas up here near Cairo, Kingston showing really small hail falling, and we have some areas near Oxford and Ortonville showing up here. But if you look at Romeo, this is going to be your main concern right here. So people are asking on our page if we're going to share that we're actually in a higher risk now. We'll go ahead and get a post up for that, just because, like I said, I got home at about 8:30 and I jumped right on here. I did not have time to really get situated, get the page updated, or anything like that. So give me 1 second to update the page. I did get post out to subscribers earlier this morning, so that was taken care of. But unfortunately, I was just a little bit too busy. Once I sat down here and got the warning issued, I just hopped right on here and didn't really update the page at all. So give me 1 second to do that really quick. All right. If you guys haven't already, we'd appreciate it if you hit that like button on the stream. It helps the algorithm out and gets it out to more people who may see it and be prepared and get ready for these storms. Yeah, Freddie, it looks like this is a hail chucker here. You may be seeing some movement in the clouds just due to the amount of shear we have in the atmosphere. You may have, like, for example, winds 1,000 feet off the surface going southeast, but 2,000 or 3,000 feet off the surface, it might be going like a north, and then above that, might be going west. So you may see something that looks like rotation in the clouds, but that's just your directional wind shear that we have in place, which is why we're kind of concerned later on for the possibility of some rotation. But for right now, these storms have no instability to work with, so it's going to be just a hail threat for right now. That's a beautiful shelf cloud in Lake Orion. See if I get this up on the page here, asking for permission. But I got a shelf cloud picture from Lake Orion a little bit ago that's really beautiful. Excuse me. There is a small bit of storm development around Kalamazoo Battle Creek. Let's go take a peek at that real quick. I don't see anything. 40. Yeah, Grand Rapids, there's really nothing in the Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo area right now. Everything's going to be on the east side of the state. All right, back over here. Load this radar back up. For some reason, it's not going to load. Did Detroit go down by chance? I don't think it did. I think it's just because it's slow. No, there's no rain right now in Kalamazoo 40. All right, let me see if I can't change this out here real quick. I'm not sure why it's not loading up. We'll try and refresh this. There we go. Cool. So the bulk of the hail now south of Romeo here falling, and the hail size is still 1.42 inches, so still above quarter size is possible. The text of the warning does say that the hail is quarter size. In fact, let's see if I can't do this real quick. I know you guys probably can't see this, but I might be able to switch screens to show you guys this. No, not really. So with this radar product, we have some tools we can use. We can slice through the storm. I was hoping to get a picture of the updraft for you guys to show you, but at this point in time, I don't see that being possible. But this storm, go ahead and give you guys this. So go ahead and do this. Go ahead and slice through the storm from Romeo down to New Haven. I'll show you guys this. All right. Give me 1 second. Oh, it's not going to be do it for some reason. Maybe. There it is. This is what we call a cross section. This can show you how high the storms are, how high hail's being lofted, as well as tornadic debris. As we can see here, these storms are almost touching 50,000 feet. That is an insane height for these early morning storms. So these storms are really tall, which is why you're getting the hail on these storms. They're really tall. They're having updrafts that get stretched, and because those big updrafts and those very strong updrafts, the hail is just kind of bouncing back and forth, up and down, getting bigger and bigger. So these 50,000 feet towers, these storms are really just cranking for this for this morning right now. So that's just a few things to. Yeah, that's just bulk the hail falling between 30,000 feet in the surface. So yeah, that's pretty good hail falling right there. So that's pretty cool. Go ahead and switch back over here to radar. So again, the whoopsies, I did it again. The bulk of the hail. Let's switch back over here to my panel view. There we go. The bulk of the hail now between Shelby and Romeo. So the bulk of the hail is right around 1 inch size to quarter size. Could be a little bit bigger than that, heading into the North Shelby Township area. Areas need to be on guard here. Shelby, Mount Clemens, New Haven. You guys in between here. There's really no town names, but between Shelby over to New Haven, New Baltimore, you guys are on deck. So you see here on satellite on the right side of your screen, we're in the countryside right now, but it's about to enter into a very populated area, which is not good. So we're about to have a lot of hail damage if this storm continues to strengthen and holds its strength. There's going to be a lot of hail damage here in Mount Clemens, Utica, and Shelby areas. Go ahead and zoom this out just a bit and take a animation of this. We're going to see that this is tracking east-southeast towards the Mount Clemens area. So if you are in Mount Clemens, you are pretty much direct center line in this path of this storm. So St. Clair, Clinton Township, St. Clair Haven. Any other names I can pull up here? No. Maybe Caddy, Katy, Fraser, but this storm should be mainly toward the Mount Clemens and our surrounding areas. And the bulk of the hail now right around 1 inch size. Some good hail core falling, or some really good hail indications falling on our CC and VIL product. Go ahead and just leave this up here and pull new data and head to some comments. Check velocity again. I can. I'm not too worried about velocity, just given the elevated nature of these storms. So your hail's right there. So the greens are outbounds, reds are, hold on. The greens are inbounds, the reds are outbounds. So these winds are going towards, these winds are going away. So basically it's indicative of a downburst happening there due to the hail, which lines up pretty clear cut with the hail core here between Shelby and Romeo. So this is just some downburst. Could be some gusty winds there along Romeo and Shelby. But for the most part, it's just going to be some hail threat for right now. All right, more comments. Yeah, that screen's pretty cool. We kind of use that to get an idea of how storms are acting. We also have, I'll show you guys real quick. It doesn't really show anything with this storm, but we do have a way we can actually look at like the cloud tops and updrafts and stuff like that. But again, it's not too impressive with the storm, mainly because it's probably elevated. I'll go ahead and show you guys this. Give me 1 second to pull this up. There you go. You guys should be able to see that now. So this is basically just your cloud tops here. And as you can see, we have that height there. So 50,000 feet, 60,000 feet. These tops are pretty much right at the 47 to 48,000 feet. So that's pretty cool. So this is what the thunderhead would look like if you were just kind of looking at a clear day. It wasn't so cloudy. This would be what the cloud tops would look like. So pretty cool. All right. Whoopsies. Did it again. Nope. Did it again. I want to flip off, go back to polling. There we go. All right. Back to some comments here. Very strong winds, Sterling Heights. I would believe it. Where's Sterling Heights at? I know it's up here somewhere. Sterling Heights is currently not in a storm, so anything wind-wise would be probably outflow boundary. I don't see anything on radar indicating that right now, though. Bulk of the hail falling just to the northeast of Shelby. It does appear to be under severe limits, although there is some indication that there could be a bit larger hail falling, just given the CC product as well as radar returns here, getting really purples. And also take into consideration, you're really close to the radar. The radar is right over here. You see this KDTX right here. That is your radar from Pontiac, Detroit. So this is only 1,453 feet off the ground. So it's not 5, 6,000 feet off the ground. This is happening pretty close to the ground. So when you get these returns with the purples here, it does indicate that some pretty good sized hail is falling with these storms, especially with it being close to the radar. Can we take a higher tilt maybe? So you can see what that looks like. Yeah, this is a really deep updraft. That is insane. Holy smokes. So again, these cloud tops are topping 45, 50,000 feet. So plenty of updraft height to get this hail to a good size. So most of the hail core now falling to the east of Shelby. Again, looking like it's heading toward the Mount Clemens area between New Baltimore and Mount Clemens. You guys will be getting the bulk of this. And once this is over Canada, we'll probably hop off here, maybe look at some models maybe first. But there's a lot of updating we need to do for the page as well as our subscribers and stuff like that. So I'll probably need about an hour or two to prepare. And again, we have a live stream scheduled at 1 p.m. We'll have a forecast posted to our page by 1 o'clock so you guys can see that. But for the most part, the storm does appear to be about to cross into Canada. And looking up here, we do have some good size hail falling up here by Kingston, about a half-inch size. So still sub-severe, so we'll have to watch that to see if that continues to develop and strengthen. But again, the main majority of hail still is down here in the Shelby area heading toward Mount Clemens. All right, I'm about to post a shelf cloud picture here. You guys go check this out once I get it up on the page. This is pretty cool. This is one of the better shelf cloud pictures that I've seen this year. Give me 1 second to post this. All right, that is posted. Go check that out. If you guys haven't seen, we posted a few different shelf clouds on the page this morning. We did expect the shelf cloud to kind of meander through the states, so not surprised to see shelf clouds. I just expected to be more widespread and definitely further west than what this is. So a little bit different than what we expected last night. So we'll have to kind of see how that plays out for later on this evening. But again, currently just right now, some hail, some gusty winds, and a lot of rain for most areas. The biggest hail I see right now is going to be right down here, just to the north and a little bit west of Mount Clemens, showing up at half-inch size, although I do expect this to be a little bit bigger than that, up to quarter size. A severe warning is in effect for Macomb County. Looks like CC here on the right has kind of broadened back out, so hail looks to be either weakening or cycling again. We saw the storm weaken before, and it cycled right back up into a pretty good hail producer as well. Excuse me. So we have to keep an eye on this. It's about to cross into Canada, which is great news. Over water too, so anybody on the lake out there would have to pay attention. But for the most part, this is going on to an unpopulated area, so that's great news. And for the most part, being in the populated area it's in, looks like the hail size is not too big, so it looks like we escaped some pretty good damage here in the Mount Clemens area. Although there could still be some hail falling, just given the amount of data we have here. We see the purples here on radar. We see the greens here on VIL, indicating that we could have some hail. But again, the majority of this it look like it's weakened for right now. The warning still does remain in effect until 10:45, so 20 more minutes, and that's gonna be for quarter-size hail as well as 50-mile-per-hour winds. We do have some hail showing up down here to the west of Auburn Hills now. This is really close to the radar, which is why it's getting kind of scattered and kind of weird looking. But we do have this hail falling. That's really good indication we could have hail on the surface, just given the distance from the radar. This is only 394 feet, so about one football field off the ground, and we're getting really good indications here of hail falling in this area. So this may need if this continues, it may need a warning on this. More pictures coming to the page. Yeah, there's really, really beautiful turbulent skies sent into us this morning. If you guys do have pictures, feel free and don't be afraid to send those into us. We'd love to see pictures. All right, taking a wide shot back out here. It's a really beefy storm, really beefy. Lots of rain probably falling with it as well. But right now, the CC does appear to be pretty much clear of any significant hail, so that's great news. Once this crosses into Canada, I'll probably go over some models really quickly with you guys. You want to see them? And then hop off. I don't want to get too detailed because I want to go over like the real-time data. I want to see a lot of different things before I make a forecast. But we can go over some models together. You see a black shelf cloud coming with continuous thunder. If you can get a picture safely, do it. Always love to see some shelf clouds in the state. I cannot believe we've been live for an hour and a half. That is insane. All right, see you 40. I'm not sure why. There's like multiple people commenting that the storm direction, storm motion today is weird. South to southeast motion is not weird at all in the summertime. And in fact, it's actually quite normal to see the southeast motion in the storms given the upper level flow we call northwest flow, which would be northwest to southeast movement. It's a very typical summertime pattern. It's not weird at all. So storms moving south southeast are not unheard of here in Michigan. It's actually pretty common. Taking a peek at the page again, making sure we're not missing any hail reports or any new pictures coming in. Yeah, Macomb County, pretty nasty. Yeah, it is. For sure. I'll go ahead and plug this really quickly. We do have a sponsor on our page, StormGuard. We have a banner scrolling at the bottom of the screen for mainly the Metro Detroit area. It does include Macomb County. If you guys do have hail damage from these storms, we recommend you go check out StormGuard. They are the most trusted and well ranked in the nation for roofing repair and any construction needs. So if you guys do have damage, go give them a look and they'll be happy to work with you to get that fixed. So with this storm now kind of weakening, I do want to stay on this a little bit longer, but I do want to look at some models here really quickly here with you guys. So let me do this. I'll go ahead and leave this up on the radar. I'm going to go ahead and take a peek at some models, and then I'll go ahead and share those models. I want to get an idea of what I'm looking at here before I share anything. So again, a severe warning does remain in effect for Macomb County until 10:45. So 14 more minutes on that severe hailstorm. And that is expected to move into Canada here and mainly just be a hail threat later on, or it should be a pretty low hail threat after the storm a little bit later on this morning. All right, so latest model guidance is out from the NAM. You see it out from the HRRR as well. honestly making a lot of rain tonight at the NAMs on anything. Let's see how much rain this is putting out here. Yeah, it's putting out almost a inch or two of rain. So localized flooding may be an issue tonight as well. So to kind of keep an eye on that too. Oh wow. Okay. So yeah, this threat does appear to be pretty much on track. The NAM3 still fires off storms up in the Tri-City Saginaw Bay area, and they push off to the east southeast, much like these storms are doing. I'm loading in an X-ray sounding of the environment here. It does appear to be pretty on track for what we're kind of forecasting. So nothing too significant has changed with that. So at this point in time, I don't want to. Hold on, let me see if I can get this loaded. Load this up here. I want to see if I can't load the newest. I'm not sure why it's not letting me load this new run. There it is. There we go. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and share this to you guys. With the storm weakening here in Macomb County, we'll go ahead and hop off this storm here. Gonna take one last look at what's around here, make sure I'm not missing anything. So some small hail falling here in Mount Clemens, some small hail up in Shelby, and also up here in Auburn Hills, Rochester Hills. We'll leave that radar up and come back to it once we're done looking at some models. And again, some small hail up here by North Branch and Brown City, and again up by Capac. And then at the wide shot here, not much is going on. So these storms will continue off to the east-southeast at around 40 miles per hour. So areas such as Pontiac, you guys still have some storms up here in Flint heading towards you guys. Non-severe, nothing hail-wise or wind-wise showing up. So that's great news for right now. And then up here in the Gaylord area, we do have, again, scattered showers and storms that have developed. Wait for this to load in. Those are pretty much over the lake or about to go on the lake. And again, not much hail showing up here. Maybe some by Tawas City. But again, that's just going to be a pretty isolated threat up there. So majority of it's going to be down here in Metro Detroit. All right, let's go ahead and take a peek at some models. Go ahead and leave the radar up here. Load that in and switch screens. So give me 1 second, guys. So models later today. We're gonna go ahead and look at the NAM because the NAM seems to have a better handle on things, in my opinion, lately. The HRRR model is kind of way off in left field. It has storms firing off to our east in Ontario and leaving us dry, which is a possibility if the cap holds. But I don't think that's the case given the amount of instability and also lift with the shortwave moving in here. I think we'll have plenty of juice to get these storms fired up. So I don't expect it to be a huge miss for Michigan. I think if there's going to be storms, Michigan will get those. But the screen you're looking at now is the NAM3. And this is going to be, why is it still? Okay, 12Z, perfect. All right, so as we go through the day today, these storms are expected to clear out. Sunny skies will develop across most of central and southern Michigan. This is your instability product. So go ahead and get this screen centered right there. Perfect. So as we go into the afternoon, this is 5. We see purples here all across the state, indicating upwards of 5,000 surface instability, what we call CAPE, which for severe weather, we want to see that at the very minimum 1,000 to 1,500. So when you get to 2, 3, 4, 5,000, you're talking significant amounts of instability available. This is 5 p.m. Eastern. We're going to go ahead and move forward into the 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 hours. Now this kind of lingers around here, 11 into the midnight time frame. So I want to go ahead and go back here to 10 p.m. This is your instability. The gradient here sets up pretty much across central Michigan. Now we go ahead and flip over to radar. There's your line of storms that develop across Saginaw Bay over towards Big Rapids. That pushes into the better environment to the south of it. So this is the same time frame. This is 9 p.m. tonight. Go ahead and flip back over to Cape. You see that juice environment ahead of it? That's exactly what we're going to talk about here. That juice is going to fuel the storms, get those severe. And also looking at a few other products, supercell product here, we do have some heightened threat for some supercells today, given the amount of supercell composite we have. And also tornado parameters. We do have some of that in the state today as well. So we'll have to kind of keep an eye on that to see how that plays out. But overall, this threat does appear to be on track. Go ahead and move radar through the evening hours. This is, again, 10 o'clock. Go ahead and flip back here. This is 5, 6, 7, 8 o'clock. We have storms firing over Big Rapids, Houghton Lake, Saginaw, moving east-southeast, impacting areas to the south as the evening goes on into the 10 o'clock hour, into 11 o'clock, into midnight. We do have a secondary line that this model does throw out there. Behind this line, we'll have to see if that plays out, but there could be a secondary line developing over here by Ludington. We'll have to wait and see. This is midnight tonight. We do have a pretty strong line of storms forming and pushing into the southern parts of Michigan here. So again, slight risk is in effect here. All hazards are possible, especially if you are east of US 23 in areas of Detroit up into Thumb. So Saginaw, Flint, Macomb County, Lapeer County, Sanilac counties, Tuscola counties, Washtenaw, Wayne, Lenawee, Monroe, Livingston, Oakland. You guys are all in that threat tonight for a tornado or two possible. Main threat tonight is going to be damaging winds. And that's all I'm going to say. If the cap holds, storms may not fire or may not reach full potential. With that being said, guys, that's all I'm going to share with you at this point in time. We will go live again at 1 p.m. with the latest data. We'll go over it again, and then we'll be live tonight if anything goes severe or if any of us chase. We got you covered. We'll be live again if anything goes severe. We'll switch back over to radar here and take a peek at Macomb County one more time. And I'll take a peek at chat here and take a look at any questions people have asked. So give me 1 second. All right, there's your radar. Perfect. The hail threat does appear to be pretty much over. There's some small hail now falling over in the Troy area. We still have some purples here on radar. Nothing really showing up on CC, though, which is good news. So just some small hail over Troy. Hail is indicated to be about a ½ inch size, so not severe at all. And then up here, we do have some more storms that do have some small hail cores, but again, nothing severe. This is showing still just under a ½ inch size or so. So again, those storms will continue off to the east-southeast going into Canada. Not going to rule out another severe storm popping up here. Again, the warning does remain in effect for another 5 minutes, but they'll probably let that expire here at this point, just given the amount of weakening the storm has done. If anything, this storm would be the strengthening storm right now in Troy. It'll be moving towards Southfield, Warren, Hamtramck. But right now it's not severe. So we'll see what they do with the warning here in 5 minutes. But we do expect them to cancel that. All right, questions for really quickly here. Yeah, heavy rain will be a threat today. It's given the amount of moisture we have. We're getting moisture from Hurricane Hillary. The moisture is here, and that's also why we had the heat indexes today close to 100 or a little bit above 100. Tomorrow, the heat really ramps up. And again, we do have a severe threat for tomorrow as well. We'll go over at 1 o'clock. All right. Mystic, yeah, you are good to do groceries at 6 o'clock, but keep in mind there is a chance for some isolated storms through the afternoon, just given the amount of instability we're going to have, but the cap is going to be strongest in the afternoon. So don't expect widespread storms, but an isolated storm or two in the afternoon is definitely possible. All right, guys, I'm going to hop off here. Look for our forecast up here by noon. And again, live stream at 1 o'clock. We'll keep you guys updated. Thanks, guys, for watching. Hit that like button on your way out.